So I don't understand how a civilian can just put someone in a chokehold to the point where they lose their life and not face consequences behind it. Daniel Penny, who is the vigilante, I guess, if you will, who used the chokehold on a homeless person on a New York City train. Jordan Neely. It said that Jordan Neely was on this train and was acting out, yelling, making threatening remarks. He was saying that he was hungry. He ended up taking off his jacket, throwing it down, just being real aggressive in the train car. And if you're from New York, if you ever rode the New York City subway, you know this is like a common thing. You got people who have mental episodes and they be going through things. And most times people would just move away. They'll probably change carts if you can. In some unfortunate situations, they'll probably have an incident happen with it. In this case, Jordan was making these gestures. People was getting alarmed, moving around. And then you have Daniel Penny, who's a Marine veteran, who I guess in the moment, something clicked in his mind. He thought he was back on the front lines and wanted to neutralize the threat on the train, I guess. And he goes up behind Jordan, puts him in a chokehold, and holds him in the chokehold for several minutes until Jordan passed out and ultimately died. Daniel is on trial currently. He's facing 2 charges. One of them is second-degree manslaughter, and the other one is criminally negligent homicide. And the judge has dismissed the manslaughter charge because the jury were deadlocked on determining whether he would be guilty of it or not. So they couldn't come to a conclusion. The judge sent them back, had them deliberate some more. They came back, still couldn't reach an agreement, which caused the judge to throw out the manslaughter charge. He was facing up to 15 years in prison if convicted on that. And for the lesser charge, just up to 4 years in prison for that. I feel like the charges are fitting for what transpired. I feel like especially the second-degree manslaughter, which is the type of crime where you cause the death of someone unintentionally, which is exactly what he did. It's not self-defense. Jordan wasn't physically attacking anyone at the time when Daniel decided to come up behind him and put him in his chokehold. And then even if you feel like, I'm going to prevent this from going any further and I'm going to restrain him, at what point do you let up? At some point, Jordan stopped moving and became limp. And Daniel still held him in that chokehold. So in the matter of self-defense, you're fighting off a threat, an immediate threat. Once Jordan's body went limp, he should have let him go. He may have had a chance to survive, but no, he kept him in that chokehold and ultimately killed him. So I feel like I don't understand how the jurors were deadlocked on coming to an agreement on second-degree manslaughter. And we'll see what they do with the second lesser charge. They may end up being deadlocked on that as well. But it's unfortunate, this situation. It made me think of George Floyd, for instance, where you have this police officer, Derek Chauvin, who kneeled on George's neck for over 9 minutes, asphyxiating him. He's currently in prison for that. You think about Eric Garner and that police officer who put him in a chokehold. And Daniel isn't a police officer. He isn't law enforcement at all. He's just a vigilante who was on the train and decided to take matters into his own hands. But when you think about the police are forbidden to use a chokehold on people for this very reason, because in the moment, you may not realize exactly how much damage you're causing. So I don't understand how a civilian can just put someone in a chokehold to the point where they lose their life and not face consequences behind it. Second-degree manslaughter is very fitting for what Daniel did that day. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Thank you for watching. If you rock with your boy, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, it's called Holliewood and Friends, which means I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the topics I just discussed. I appreciate you. New episodes every Monday night. Until next time, deuces.